You're listening to the inaugural edition of Putnam Talk Radio, the Cup of Joe political show with County Executive Mary Ellen Odell, brought to you by Shaw Communications and the Indian Point Nuclear Power Plant. Mary Ellen, good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
How have things been in Putnam County during these past crazy 12 months?
Well, let's go from today backwards because today's a good day. Today, we're dispensing a couple hundred vaccines in Putnam County residents' arms right now while we speak. And we're also getting some of the J&J doses being allocated to us. And so we're starting to see a steady stream of the vaccines. And we all knew from day one that was the only way we were going to get out of this, was to get vaccines in.
Vaccines has been like pulling teeth around here, around Putnam County, around the Hudson Valley, around the state of New York.
Yeah, we advocate the Hudson Valley Region County Executive. So that would be Steve Newhouse in Orange, Mark Molinaro in Dutchess, Ed Day in Rockland, and myself. We talk all day long about the allocations that we were getting, and they just simply weren't enough to cover the expansion of the groups that were being programmed to be opened up for vaccination. So hopefully with the J&J announcement, the single dose vaccine, and the partnership now with Pfizer and J&J, I think, we're all very hopeful that we're going to start establishing pods almost on a weekly basis, 4 or 5 days a week. We can do it. We know we can.
There are so many exciting things happening in Putnam County. Unfortunately, COVID has just put the brakes on virtually everything, be it education, cultural events, going out for a dinner. It's so difficult now. What are your priorities to get this county back in tune?
Well, we always run parallel paths, right? So, advocating for all of the stakeholders in Putnam County, no one is more important, we believe right now, than the other, except we have focused on getting our seniors, our vulnerable seniors inoculated. We are very proud of our senior population and the volunteer work that they do to contribute to our community. And of course, remember, there are parents, there are grandparents, there are past teachers, there are past first responders. So we wanted to really make sure that our seniors have been okay during COVID, try to keep them as healthy as we possibly could and keep in touch with them because our senior friendship centers were closed. And also the children and the schools and the struggle that the parents have been having about the at-home learning and the hybrid learning and the challenges that faces. Remember, a lot of our parents are working from home. I was a working mother, but I worked outside of the home, and that presented its own challenges. Now imagine trying to work at home and make sure that your children are still getting the education that they need to advance, to stay current. So it's been hard for everyone.
We know you meet regularly with the various superintendents of schools, Anthony DiCarlo in Mahopac and Brewster and Carmel, Putt Valley and Haldane, even Garrison. What message do you give them each time you meet? Hang in there?
Well, every week, everything has been changing so rapidly. The guidance from New York State, starting in June, the executive order from the governor basically removed any executive powers from our Commissioner of Health and myself as well. And we were to follow any of the guidance that New York State directed down to all 62 counties. And that was challenging. We also, we feel as though Shanna Siegel, Kathy Percacella, Dr. Mike Neshawat, they've really been in the forefront. They've been on the front lines through this whole pandemic, and they've been communicating with our school leaders. Anthony DiCarlo and I are former colleagues in county government, so we had already had an established relationship. There's been some changes in superintendents during the pandemic, so that's had presented its challenges as well. But the communication between the schools and our local health department has been, I think, extraordinary. And the school superintendents acknowledge that in a call we had on Monday together.
Businesses have taken a big hit as well. We know you spoke before a recent meeting of the Chambers of Commerce, the Business Council of Putnam County. Again, asking them to hang in there.
Yeah, that was a tough ask. You know, when the governor shut down the economy throughout New York State, it was very devastating. You know, watching people, watch them lose their life savings, their life's work for something that they clearly didn't understand. You know, this virus, you couldn't see this virus. We didn't understand the science of this virus. We just knew that there was a transmission rate and infection rate, and we didn't really understand why there had to be this complete and total shutdown. And I'm sure we'll never really understand.
Again, what do you tell the local business person now? The restaurateur, the governor's talking about opening up venues such as Mayapack. How do you get these people to come back and continue the work that they do for the people of Putnam County?
Well, we are so grateful that we have the Economic Development Corporation President, Kathleen Abels, who's been working with our Deputy County Executive, Tom Fury, which we brought Tom on specifically to assist with the COVID implications as it had on our Main Street economy. Because as the phases that the governor had designed were opening up, small changes were happening, but big guidance came along with those small changes. So, when you think back to the small openings, it was takeout. You could, a flower shop on Mother's Day. That was a big push we advocated to allow that business to do takeout, curbside delivery. Some of the restaurants, became very creative and innovative and started with the curbside delivery, tailoring down their menu. For the reopening, we follow the guidance that the New York State Department of Health, as well as the governor's office, has mandated to us, because if we didn't, along with that came severe penalties, which included the loss of your liquor license and the fact that you may not get it reinstated, and a hefty fine. Now, we saw, as an example, the Bull and Barrel have to close. And we know that Wendy Wilkin and her partner have been tremendous community contributors. They've had fundraisers. They've supported many, many groups and individuals across the county, and they unfortunately closed. And, as we're coming out of this, I'm hopeful that Wendy will have the energy and the will to reopen the Bull and Barrel, because that was such a wonderful destination for Putnam County.
Now, with all the chaos going on in Albany with the governor on down, and we're not going to get involved with that unless you want to, but she waves her hand. But with the new rules and regulations now that local municipalities will have the final say, is that going to help Putnam County in reopening business, in getting business back on track?
No.
Schools?
No, I don't. At this point, New York State Department of Health has basically gone dark with us. So we've already started to make some of our own decisions, but following CDC guidance. What the big challenge is right now, Eric, that we're watching is, what is Washington going to do with the COVID relief? Because that will help our businesses the most with the PPP money. Mm-hmm. We're watching what the governor in Albany's budget is going to look like, and how that will affect us in Putnam County. I can tell you, the second that we realized that our economy was being shut down, we went into austerity budget here in county government, and that saved us. We completely stopped any kind of spending that wasn't necessary or wasn't mandated by New York State. Fortunately, because we do well in internet sales tax, our sales tax revenue is holding on. And it's not to say that we haven't seen a drop. We have. But of course, that calculation comes in a time that's not in real time. So we really won't know the effect of the internet sales tax revenue, but I can tell you that we froze all of our expenses here in county government. And, that resulted in not having to lay anyone off. We worked with 50% staff, 50% worked remote. So we still were able to deliver the services to the community that we're responsible to deliver. What New York State does next will affect us tremendously. And we're holding on and we're waiting to see what happens on April 1st, what that announcement will be.
The weather has been horrendous this past month. That has impacted county coffers as well, with all the sanding and salting and overtime for the highway guys.
It hasn't helped. It hasn't helped. But, we're used to winter weather storms. We're used to summer and fall storms. So we budget appropriately. And, there's nothing more important in our role as leaders in government than public safety. That's our number one charge, delivering services and public safety. And I thank our highway crews in Putnam County, and I thank all the highway crews because they're challenged too during COVID. We're advocating to get them vaccinated, but they've been out there. They've been out there 24/7 several times already this year. So it's not just our highway guys here, it's our highway guys and women all throughout Putnam County, and our fire departments and our fire police and all the volunteers that are out there that help support us during these tremendous weather events.
As we've said so many times over the years, where would Putnam County be without its volunteers? We're a volunteer community, and the cost to the local taxpayer would be exorbitant if we didn't have these volunteer firefighters, EMS people, EMTs, or the fire police, those kind of people.
Yeah, and our seniors.
Yeah.
We see a definite impact in our budget because of the volunteers in this community. I'll add to that the Humane Society. I'll add to that the Cornell Cooperative. I'll add to that the libraries. Mm-hmm. I'll add to that those who take our veterans to Castle Point and Montrose and to the other medical appointments. I don't think you can put a price, a monetary price in total, but it would be in the millions. But if you think about the community, how it strengthened us during this COVID, how we really did come together and make sure that we were helping each other as much as we could. We did everything that we could as a community, and I'm very, very proud that anyone who could volunteer stayed volunteering. And you just look at the volunteers that are volunteering at the pods. No fear, no hesitation, no reservation. They raise their hand. We want to help. And we just have a great county.
I know you're very concerned about Putnam's seniors, seasoned citizens, as we like to call them. And any idea when those senior season centers will be opening again? Carmel, Cold Spring, Putnam Valley?
We're talking about it. It's really about getting the vaccinations in their arms, and of course our staff as well. We are beginning to talk about it. It's sad. It's bothered me a lot through this. We all have our ups and downs, and we've lost so many seniors this year that to COVID or to loneliness or to the lack of being able to be out. We had 5-6 senior luncheons down at the golf course every year, and they were getting bigger and bigger, and the band would play and the food was tremendous, and our seniors would get all dressed up and have a wonderful time, and they didn't get that. And we lost Joetta, our 100-year-old World War II Normandy Beach survivor. We lost him this year. We lost Gil Tarbucks just this week. We've lost so many people, either to COVID directly or indirectly if they had a comorbidity.
We don't want people to be turned off, but let's talk about something positive.
All right.
What are some of the positive things happening in Putnam now, in Mary Ellen Odell's eyes?
Well, I'll tell you something that's going to be really exciting coming up this weekend. I don't know if anyone who's listening is familiar with these igloos that are around the streets of some restaurant rows in, let's say, Westchester County. But we're bringing 4 of them up to Tilly Foster Farm. So for outdoor dining, experience. So we're calling it a snow globe. And we have a snow globe menu and a snow globe drink menu. And I think that's going to be really exciting. So it's a whole experience, getting people out, if you will, in a different dining experience that will be first in Putnam County. So that should be happening this weekend.
That will be a fun venue.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Eating out under the stars.
Eating out or in the daytime while it's snowing.
Yeah.
Looking at King and Charlie, who are out on our pasture with Simba and all of our other llama friends. It's a very cool experience, and it's a way to get people out. And I think that, the weather brings its own feeling of claustrophobia and loneliness and depression. Not everybody does well with these winter seasons, and particularly our seniors and the families that need to get out. And these will provide an opportunity to get out and do something really cool and really different.
We drove by the farm the other day, and to see those animals out there on the pasture again, it was wonderful to see. You say winter, all right, it's first week of March, but winter's behind us now, hopefully.
Right.
Last forecast was warmer weather coming up in the second week of March. Good signs.
And the farm is seeding. They're getting ready for planting for the garden. Always trying to expand on the farm to table experience up there, and the animals and the vegetables, and those vegetables going to our senior center. That whole farm experience. The barn looks fantastic. It's now, it has bathrooms now. It's very simply but elegantly decorated. I understand that people are coming out to book events out there, which is great to see that people are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable about making commitments to events, whether it's weddings or showers, something that back to normal that we've been waiting for. But the farm is going to be a great venue because it'll be all, most of it's outdoor, the barbecue concerts and our golf course as well.
And of course, our Putnam County Veterans Memorial Park is another great venue to go hiking and enjoying the outdoors once that nice weather comes in.
Oh, sure. And we're hoping Cornell will be able to have their events this year. We missed the 4-H fair last year. Among everything else we missed the 4-H fair. So we should be able to see the 4-H fair back this year. And the barbecues down at the Putnam County Golf Course will be back. I have to say one thing. If anything, golf became a hit, a number one hit. We did such a tremendous job. I got to thank the whole team down there, Jari and the whole crew, Homestyle Catering, Mike McCall. They really pulled it together down there, and we did record rounds of golf were played.
Putnam County Executive State of the County address has also been delayed till probably sometime in June. What's the message this year?
The message this year is hope and health. The message this year is about hope and health. And we will be following the rules of the charter. We will be delivering the annual report. We will be delivering our financial statement. And we just thought, why don't we wait until more vaccines are in people's arms, more of the community feels a little bit more engaged with what's going on out there. And we thought that June would be a good time, a really good time to really talk about what happened in Washington with the COVID relief package, what the Albany budget, what the impact that will have on us, how many vaccines have been dispensed in the percentage-wise in population, how the schools are doing. So we picked June. We haven't picked a firm date, but we thought June we would be able to deliver a more comprehensive message for the state of the county.
And in the last few minutes that we have, what message do you have to the people of Putnam County now that the new year, first year anniversary of COVID, hopefully the worst is behind us? What message do you have to our residents out there?
To everyone, I know that it's been very, very difficult, and we've all experienced some loss, tremendous loss. We've felt it all. If, as I said earlier, the seniors, we miss them, and we feel terrible about so many of them that we won't see again. Some of them were our veterans and our teachers, and to the families that have been home trying to work and trying to educate their kids. We hear you and we understand, but we're turning the corner, and those kids will be back in school in September. That much we're working very hard towards. To the people, the employees of Putnam County and the staff, particularly our health department and our first responders out there, on behalf of the people of Putnam County, I'm very grateful. My heart is full when I see how much people have really dedicated and committed themselves, particularly, again, the health department that have really been on the front line and have guided us through this horrible, horrible year. And I say thank you.
Well, we thank you for leading the ship, as they say, and hopefully better times ahead in Putnam County.
We know there will be. We know there will be.
Odell, we thank you very much. Mary Ellen and I will be back in a month with another episode of our Putnam County Talk Radio Cup of Joe political show, brought to you by Sharp Communications. Mary Ellen, thank you. Be well.